You've got the Bronco, now you gotta maintain it.
Buckle up, Buttercup!
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is all about the maintenance intervals for the Ford Bronco. I'm gonna go over what Ford suggests, but then I'm also gonna give you some of my own tips if you take your Bronco off-road, because there are certain things you need to keep in mind if you do so. We sell a bunch of things for maintenance at buckleupoffroad.com. We got brake pads, rotors, filters, oil change kits, so be sure to check out the website if you are due for any maintenance items. But first, let's get started about this multi-point inspection that Ford says needs to be done with every single service you perform on the Bronco. That inspection includes checking your brakes, pads, rotors, drums, linings, hoses, and the parking brake. You'll also want to inspect the cooling system level and hoses, the exhaust system, linkage, ball joints, tie rod ends, and slip fit boots. Ford also suggests checking the transmission fluid if the vehicle has a dipstick, but since the Bronco doesn't, I'll cover that a little bit later. Finally, inspect the wheels, bearings, and related components for any wear or looseness. And don't forget your tires. Set the pressures, rotate them, check the tread wear, and measure the tread depth. And speaking of tire rotations, that's the great debate. I'm gonna let you guys battle that out down in the comments. Now you can do the 5 tire rotation, which includes the spare, or you don't have to. The correct answer is, it's up to you. Now that we got the inspection part out of the way, let's break down the service intervals. The most common maintenance that you do is oil changes. Ford recommends oil changes every 10,000 miles, but some people do like to do a break-in oil change sooner than what Ford recommends, and that's fine. There's no harm with changing your oil more frequently, but per Ford, you shouldn't go more than 10,000 miles. At 20,000 miles, Ford recommends you replace the cabin air filter. And this is where I'm going to give you a KRISTA tip. I recommend checking your cabin air filter after every off-road adventure, especially if you're in a dirty or sandy area. All of that dirt went somewhere, and this is one of those places. It may not need to be replaced every single time, but if you want to keep away those nasty smells, I recommend at least checking it every single time. At 30,000 miles, it's time to replace the engine air filter. Keep in mind, this is based on standard road use. If you're hitting the trails or doing any off-road driving, it's a good idea to check the air filter after your adventure, since dirt and dust can build up much faster. You may need to vacuum the airbox out and replace the filter much sooner than 30,000 miles. Congratulations, you've now made it to 100,000 miles, so what's next? Now you're supposed to replace the cabin air filter again, but with that, you need to inspect or replace the accessory drive belts and replace the spark plugs. Finally, at 150,000 miles, it's time to change the front axle fluid, the transfer case fluid, and the rear axle fluid. You'll also want to replace the accessory drive belts if they haven't been done within the last 100,000 miles, and change the transmission fluid and filter. Transmission fluid requires a very specific procedure to check and top off, and doing this incorrectly can easily lead to improper fluid levels, which can be catastrophic. The transmission pan does not have a drain plug, so changing the fluid means removing the entire pan. The front diff and transfer case both have drain and fill plugs, but the rear diff only has a fill plug, and draining it requires removing the entire cover. Now, with all of this said, use common sense. If you don't see leaks or seepage, your fluid levels are probably fine, but fluid condition can vary a lot depending on how hard you use your vehicle. And like I mentioned before, if you go off-road, you need to go that extra mile. After every off-road trip, you need to be checking your cabin air filter, your engine air filter, check your oil, and check your catch can if you have one installed. Since I go off-road a lot, I do change my diff fluid a lot sooner than what Ford recommends, but it's better to be safe than sorry. That's when those aftermarket diff covers come in handy because it makes life draining and filling much easier. But if you need an oil change, filters, brakes, or any sort of maintenance item, be sure to check out buckleupoffroad.com because we can set you up. That's going to wrap it up for this video. Be sure to like and be sure to subscribe. And until next time, guys, buckle up, Buttercup.
Buckle up!